shut this down so nobody interrupts us. This is gonna be a good one. Welcome back to Breaking Night with BL, episode number 18. Man, I'm having a lot of fun doing these shows. Because I go through my hard drives and I go through pictures and things, and it brings back memories, and it gives me so much to talk about. So many things I know people have asked me that I want to tell stories of, and I love it. I love that everybody wants to learn. But first, as always, I want to give a shout out to my boy Swiss Precise, as always, and my boy Pens, super sick. And of course I want to shout out Breeze, because Breeze did me the dope cover for my new instrumental album coming out. And I couldn't coordinate with Coop this week, but I promise you, next week, I'm going to figure out, we can get him on the phone, because I'm going to tell you all about some TA7 history. Sunnyside, Queens. Very important. As you can see today, I'm rocking one of my shirts that I wore to my 40th birthday party. I got Tracy 168 right here. Happy birthday. I got J.A. on here. I got Zim. I got Clark. Got a couple of other people on here. History that means everything to me. So, let's get into it. I know last week I talked about my boy Pilot and how sick he is, and I showed you a bunch of treats and stuff that he made. But I was digging and digging and digging, and there's a couple things I couldn't find because I don't want to leave nothing out. Because this is how sick this man is. He made me and sent me this piece. Look at this thing. This is the ghost yard with barbed wire, real barbed wire along the top of it. Because this is what we had to do to get into yards. Climb, barbed wire. Getting cut, your legs, your pants were getting ripped. This is a sick piece. Pilot made me 2 of these. I got the other one put away. This thing's going on my wall. Super, super sick, man. Pilot's a sick talent, man. Don't sleep on that guy. And of course, on a personal note, he made me a sick canvas for my daughter. My daughter's Sadie Marie. Look at this thing, man. Pilot, you're a talent, man. And you're a good friend, dude. Trust me, I'll never forget that. And speaking of Tracy, I found one of these pieces that Tracy made me for my birthday. This is a piece he made just for me. Right on the back. To BL, April 21st. Personal treats, man. I love personal treats. It's everything to me. But of course, you know, I do my thing, I run around, I go home, and bing, I got a package. Shout out to my boy, Mr. Sharkfins. FN. FN's been online. Reach out to FN, buy some stuff from this man. I threw him a couple of bucks, and I purchased something from him. And it's important to me to support other people. Trust me, I don't just get shit for free all the time. Sometimes I shoot the lock off my wallet, and I hook some people up. FN, thank you, brother. Let's show everybody what we got here and what we're working with. Because trust me, you can get some sick pieces too. Man, I can only imagine what this is right here. Whoa. Whoa. What else we got in here? Got any other treats? Looks like this thing broke in transit. Oh, man, look at this thing. Wow. Wow. Damn, FN, man. Let me tell you about FN, man. We call him Mr. Sharkfins because he was one of the float kings of hitting trains in the 80s and 90s. And FN did his thing. And I'm honored to call this man a friend of mine. True graffiti legend who doesn't get even half the props that he deserves. The things that he did, people he influenced, you wouldn't believe it, man. Unbelievable. Going in my collection. I love it. Yes. Sent me something I can hang on my door. I love it. This way you keep away the street artists. You know, you hang this on your door in front of your house, and all the street artists know, don't come near my house. I'm a vandal. That's what we do. What have we got in here? You send me a check? You know I love checks. Definitely love a nice check. Man, treats galore. Wow. Shark fin stickers. Look at that, boy. Go online, man. Find FN GTF, man, and buy some treats. Unbelievable. FN'er. Handmade sticker. Man, I love it. Gotta love it, man. If you're a true graffiti collector, these are why I bring these things up, because these are the kind of people that you gotta go after. Because it's like buying a Mickey Mantle card. It's like buying a, you know, a Willie Mays card. It only goes up in value. FN, you're the man, dude. I can't thank you enough. But anybody who knows me knows I am a huge Honeymooners buff. I watched the Honeymooners so many times. It's my favorite sitcom in the world. I would be home watching The Odd Couple and then Honeymooners at 11:30. 11 o'clock Odd Couple, 11:30 The Honeymooners on Channel 11. Boy, was it a glorious time. I could recite every line from all 39 episodes, and I'm a huge fan of Jackie Gleason. Jackie Gleason was an actor who didn't like to practice. He didn't like to rehearse. He loved to improv. I love it. And when you watch the show, if you really pay attention, you could see when they mess up and he just jumps right back into it. One of the episodes, he had the space thing. He built the space thing for the Halloween costume, and the thing fell off. And he picks it up and he's like, oh, maybe I have to mention something about this. He was a genius. By far one of my favorite. So what did I do? Just to treat myself, I bought the Honeymooners script book. This is all 39 episodes. This is all of the episodes word for word. And I don't even need to read this, because I know all the episodes. This is a personal treat for me. So what did I do? I go on eBay and I hunt for stuff. And I search for the Honeymooners, I search for Jackie Gleason stuff. And what do I find? The treat of all treats. Somebody was selling original tickets from when they went to the Honeymooners show. And I couldn't make it because I wasn't even born then. But if you look at these tickets, this is at CBS at the theater. Look at this thing. The original ticket when they had a studio audience. When you hear all the laughing in the background. This person was there. And I was like, I gotta get this. This is going in my man cave. I love stuff like this. And of course I'm searching. And I find this guy who was a photographer on the show. And he's selling his negatives. These negatives, I got two of them. Here's one and here's another one in here. I'm not even opening this. This is an original negative of the show. Somebody that was a photographer for the show who took this. It's numbered and everything. Honeymooners. There's the number on it of the pictures in his collection. And I was so blessed to be able to get my hands on this. I love it. I still to this day wait for New Year's Eve. On New Year's Eve, as soon as the ball drops, they play 12 hours of honeymoon episodes. And guess who's home watching those episodes? This guy. I know Germs is sitting home watching the Honeymooners too. He's another big Honeymooners fan. I love it. So of course, the sick buff I am, Amuse knows that I'm a sick Jackie Gleason fan. He tells me, fam, I got something for you. He sends me this package. And I opened this up and I couldn't believe it. This is Hollywood history. This is a a piece of fabric from one of Jackie Gleason's shirts or robes. I'm not sure what this was, but this is a piece of fabric all wrapped up in a nice case. This is a gem. Jackie Gleason actually wore this shirt. You know, one day when I'm dead, they're gonna sell some of my gear. You may be able to get one of these pieces of fabric for your collection. Or not. You can burn it, whatever you want. You're entitled to do whatever you like. Just like I do. Pure treat stuff, man. Pure treats. But I say all the time that I moved out of New York and I'm in Connecticut, and I love getting out and walking around because there's beautiful beaches all along the coast here in Connecticut. And as I'm moving around, as I'm doing things, I walk around with my girl, or, you know, we're just chilling, I'm going, and I noticed that I see in this area on one of the beaches where these people paint rocks. And, you know, it's like a neighborhood thing where people, you know, you put a rock, you take a rock. And I would go there and I'd be like, you know, some of them were really cool. This one guy draws these clown faces. People just put like flags or hearts on them, you know, send nice messages to people. And I love it. And I thought to myself, I'm horrible. I can't draw to save my life. But a couple times I'm walking along the water and I would see some rocks. And I would pick them up and just be like, this looks like this to me. Or this looks like this to me. And one of the reasons I never really drawed in life was because when we were kids, we had alcohol markers. And when you're drawing on paper with an alcohol marker, if you make a mistake, there's no fixing that. You can't cover it and erase it. But when I started to use paint markers on canvases, I realized that all you gotta do is let it dry and you can fix it. It's a patience game. So I started to bring some of these rocks home and just have fun. Like, I'm not trying to be an artist. I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm a bomber. I love doing throw-ups and tags and keeping it moving. But when I'm home, you know, I smoke a little weed, I get a little baked, and like I say, I pull up a picture and I start drawing some stuff. So I brought a couple of these things just because I wanted to show you how terrible I am and the things that I like to do. Here, this is a rock I seen. I painted a mallard duck. I did the eyes, I did the front of it, and as you can see here, there's a BL on the bottom. Just treats. Just things that therapeutically make me happy. Here, seeing this rock, I was like, oh, this looks like an alligator. Look at this. The eyes with teeth all around the whole thing. And of course, a BL on the bottom. My girlfriend, she's a huge believer in cardinals. When a cardinal comes and visits you, it means somebody from your past is coming to see you. And I believe that, because sometimes I'm in the most random places and I'll see a cardinal and it looks like it's looking at me and I'll be like, wow, is that a family member? Is that Doro? Is that BR? Who is that? But I truly believe that. And for my girl, I painted this cardinal. Look at this thing. Because I saw this rock and I'm like, oh, it looks like a bird with a big beak. And of course, BL on the back. This is a treat. I enjoy doing this stuff. It's therapeutic. It's fun to me. I'm not doing this to sell. I posted this a couple of weeks ago. Buzzard. My mama told me to get something for dinner. With the BL on the back. Just having fun, folks. My daughter, Sadie, when she eats stuff, we call her the piranha, because she just attacks it. I'm walking along the beach, I see this rock. I'm like, yo, that would be a sick piranha. I went home, I Googled a picture of a piranha, and this is what I did. Again, I'm terrible. BL on the back. My girlfriend loves sloths. I don't know why, she loves sloths. So, I found this rock and I figured, you know what, let me do this with my girl. I gave it to her, she was so happy. And I said, sweetie, you should be proud because I don't draw to save my life. This is something very rare. I don't do this much. But, here's supposedly me and her, hugging it out, kid. BL on the back. This to me is one of my personal favorites. I found this and I literally was like, what am I gonna do? I went home, started searching images, and I wanted to do a shark. I painted the blue, I pulled up a great white shark. To me, this is a little treat. I like it. It's a paperweight. Of course, BL on the back. And here's another one I was just working on, goofing around, the American Eagle, man. I'm an American patriot. American Eagle. Unbelievable. Just fun things that I like to do. It's therapeutic. I go home, I smoke weed, I'm getting out of the sun, I get a little time, the baby goes to sleep, my girl's either doing something or she's sleeping, I'm home working on stuff, editing the show, reaching out to people, making connections. And sometimes I'll just take a break and I'll pull out a rock and get some paint markers, because, you know, I got plenty of paint markers. Shout out my boy Ketch. Ketch blessed me with a fortune of markers. You're the man. I'm never going to claim to be an artist, because I'm not. I just like to have fun. And you should too. Whatever makes you happy, you should do it. I've mentioned on last shows before that besides collecting a lot of graffiti memorabilia, I also collect relics, historical relics. And I'm working on doing a different podcast with my boys. Shout out to my boy Gary Giannotti. For those that follow me on Instagram, you see that I used to post a lot of videos of my friend grilling, making tomahawks, steaks, sausage, chicken, just going sick.
So this is, you gotta type and say this is a bourbon dry rub. And now
what is it?
Hold your neck.
Bourbon dry rub?
Bourbon dry rub.
Okay.
Now we're going little. So this thing might flame up.
Oh, yeah, go easy. Oh shit.
It's gonna light. It'll light.
We're gonna get hammered.
Apple pie, kid.
Jesus. All right. That's enough, kid. We're gonna be fucking lit.
That's it. That's it. Close the lid, baby. It's all smoking hot. Well, hold on. Let me show.
My buddy Gary, he's a sick chef and he's a relic historian, and he taught me a lot. Shout out to my boy Johnny. Johnny Bennington is a Marine, great stand-up dude, another historian who just dove into this stuff, and we've been learning a lot and learning a lot. And shout out to my boy Brian. My friend Brian is a sick photographer, and he's been studying Gary's medals and all these things for years, and we learned a lot about hand-engraved medals. I'm not talking about things that were stamped by the U.S. Mint. The U.S. Mint didn't come until the late 1700s. I'm not going to give so much away right now, but I brought a treat. This is my 1789 George Washington Indian Peace Medal. I bought this from somebody who inherited this from someone, and this person didn't even know what they had. So I rolled the dice, I bought this thing. And I'm going to show you the actual medal. But I'm going to show you a little bit of video, and I'm going to show you some sick pictures that my boy Brian got. When you look at this thing, it doesn't look like anything special. It looks like a piece of junk that came out of the garbage. I don't want to put too much of my hands on it, but this is the front of the medal. Okay? There's George Washington on the front and an Indian, and they're supposed to be shaking hands. It says George Washington on the air is the year 1789, and this is the back of the medal. It's got the American seal on the back. As you can see, there's some discoloration on there. There's like purple and other colors. It looks like it was in the dirt for a long time, but we don't know. There's a lot of scratching on here. And a quick little bit of history. In the early 1700s, David Rittenhouse was the first person to ever discover diffracting art. He figured out how to put slices in things and make images, so as you turn it and you move it, things morph. They come and go. Looking at it with the naked eye, most people don't even realize it. I had my buddy Brian came over and take pictures of this. And he took some pictures, and he took this one picture. Here, look at this picture. If you can see in this picture, it's the top loop of the front. Right over here, the top loop. And it looks like it's all destroyed, as you can see in that picture. So I'm home one night, I'm in the dark, he sends me these pictures. I'm on my laptop with the big screen, and I'm smoking weed. I'm zoned into it, and I'm zooming in, I'm zooming in, I'm zooming in, and I look and I'm like, holy shit. Am I crazy, or is that a hidden punch at the very top of this ring? It's so small you can't see it with the naked eye. So I said, Brian, I zoomed in, I sent him a faded picture. I was like, please tell me this is the punch of the maker. And he says, you know, you may be right. Let me come back over, pull out my macro lens and my camera, and let's target that area. He comes back to my house, we go in the yard, at the sunlight, and he starts taking pictures. And lo and behold, he gets really close shots of this, and you could see that these guys were hiding art. They were doing things on there that were not meant to be seen with the naked eye. Kind of like, I feel it like special, because when I do canvases and we do graffiti, at some point, me and Dan and a bunch of people, we started doing things that were hidden in plain sight. We would do our graffiti on there, and you couldn't tell there was a BL or a Den or, you know, some lettering. You know, Amuse was doing A's, you know, we were hiding stuff. One time DSR came to my house and he brought this big aquarium canvas he found. So he did a fish, and I did a little fish too, and we just colored it. And if you look at it, you wouldn't be able to notice until you point it out. So my boy Brian messages me and he's like, yo, I got this picture for you. I want you to take a look at this. He goes and he gets this glossy photo made. Now, you probably can't see this, but as you look further away, there's a portrait on the whole thing. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm gonna put this picture on there for clearly day. And if you're too close to your phone or TV, look at this. This is a whole portrait here. I don't care what no one says. These people were silversmiths and they were hiding art on there. And it wasn't meant for people really to see. So then he sends me this other picture, and I was like, dude, I'm going to get a print because I want to see this firsthand. This is a picture of the top of the loop, okay? And right here, you see a whole bunch of scratching. It looks like somebody went to town with a file, like they destroyed it. This thing wasn't dragged in the mud, it wasn't on the rocks. This is not from wear and tear. But if you look right here, there's an IR. Joseph Richardson, who worked for George Washington when the government first started in 1789. And what we're doing is cracking cases, as Amuse calls me, Indiana Johnny. My buddy Gary turned us on to ways that we put certain lights on things, and certain things pop, some things stand out, some things with certain colors stand out, some things in the sunlight pop at you. But you can't get away from a photo. So I'm so thankful for my boy Brian. I'm actually working on talking to some galleries, and I want to do a pure American history art gallery, showing these pieces that we have, showing things that we found, video and still shots, because I have a lot of pieces that we have discovered things that were hidden on them. Here's a picture of a spoon, a Joseph Richardson spoon that I bought for my friend Gary. I gave him as a gift because this man was buying tomahawks every weekend, cooking for all of us, just loving life. So when I started digging into this stuff, I found somebody online selling a spoon. I offered him $145 for this little spoon. We took it to Gary's house, and here's the video. Hold on.
Oh, shit.
See it diffracting?
Wow, Johnny, get in there.
It's doing it. Dude, it's diffracting. This is big money. This thing's worth a lot of money, dude. This thing's worth fucking shitloads of buku bucks. See all the weird things coming up? See the head? See the head up top? Right there.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, Gary, that's yours, dude.
Dude, that's sick.
That's yours.
That's fucking.
And when you turn this thing upside down, don't dare tell me you don't see a face on there. It looks like a knight. It looks like a person with a silver helmet, like a knight. Break a night with BL. These kind of things make the hair on the back of my neck stand up. Because we're seeing things that nobody knows. There's so many things out there people don't even know what they have. But we're working our asses off to crack this case. And I'm going to be dropping some gems on people like you wouldn't believe. Sooner or later, everything that's on eBay, people are going to take it down. And they're no longer going to be selling this. I'm buying everything I can right now. I already gave you a jewel. Joseph Richardson. Of course, there were many, many silversmiths before Joseph Richardson, and there were many after. But somewhere along the line, these guys were passing on tricks, showing each other what they were doing. It's not like somebody just made this up. It's like art when you're doing graffiti. You see somebody doing lines, they do the line, and then they start eating away at the line. And then, you know, it comes out dope. In the beginning, it looks like a mess, whatever, until you really go and clean it up. These pieces, to me, are everything, man. I love it. But I wanted to talk about something else, because you know something? I know I'm always bigging up people, man, and I'm being nice to people, but there are some people that I'll never respect and I'll never talk to. I seen somebody post the other day this picture of 5 Pointz. And it just brought me back on how, to the rest of the world, 5 Pointz was this historical graffiti art place. And, you know, everybody looks at Mears like he's Jesus. And, you know, God, if it wasn't for him, none of this would evolve. And let me tell you a couple stories. When I first went to 5 Pointz, when it first was named 5 Pointz, because before that it was called the Fun Factory. And everybody was there painting. It wasn't like he invented anything. When I used to go there, I used to hang out with Topaz, aka Lord Rock, and Nick One, Aerosol Kings. They were there every day in the little office hanging out, drawing in books, sitting outside, you know. I go by there, smoking some weed, drinking beers and chilling, you know, formed a bond with these people. Again, I don't peace. But I brought Slash there one day, I brought Germs there one day, I invited Sin, FN came, Amuse was there. Shout out to my boy Marco, my boy Says, he was there. Even Poes came by. Germs and Slash were doing pieces. We're all just hanging out on the roof. Here, I got some pictures of that day. We were just there having fun doing what we're doing. So then I started this little friendship with Mears, because I enjoyed going there. Just the atmosphere. Hanging out on the loading dock, smoking weed and chilling out. And before you know it, Mears starts coming to me and crying that, oh, BL, this guy's around the back, he's shooting a music video, I didn't give him permission, yo, please go there and tell him to leave. And now I gotta get up from my chair, I gotta put out my blunt, put my beer down, I gotta go around the block, and I gotta tell this guy, oh, hey man, did you get permission to do that? You can't just be here filming this stuff. Kick rocks. That happened every week. Every week this kid was coming to me to help him. One morning he calls me up at 8:30 in the morning and he's crying to me, yo, BL, please, you gotta come here and help me. I'm like, what's the matter? He tells me, yo, Scant RTD came there and destroyed the whole place. I gotta cover this stuff before people see it. I don't want no one to get pictures. Shout out to Scant. You're the fucking man. At the time, I wasn't really cool with Scant. I knew him from a long time ago. I know his family, and I know people he hung out with in Forest Hills. But I was like, wow, that's kind of fucked up. He just went over a bunch of pieces. But going through the motions, I started hanging out there all the time. I brought JA there. We started hanging out there, smoking, whatever. I'm the one that got JA up on the roof. This man put on a harness and a tow rope. He tied it to a pole. He threw it over the end. And he climbed down the thing. And he did this VE insane on the very top of the wall. Here's this picture. Look at this picture. This is what somebody posted showing 5 Pointz completely covered. And there were times I was there, and I was like, Mears, you got all these people coming here from out of the country, you got all your boys, they're doing all these things. I was like, yo, let me go up and do something. Oh, BL, man, why don't you do a piece? You should do a piece. I said, Mears, look along the whole top. There's blockbusters, there's simple styles. Not everybody's doing burners. I said, you're not gonna let me get a little space over there? So I got heated at the dude. Okay. So we're around back there, and one time Slash and Germs and Topaz were helping me do a Cold Heat entertainment mural. Because when me and Jack were rhyming, we called ourselves Cold Heat, and we were doing a mural. We filmed the whole thing. We did a music video in front of it, and we're there chilling. And shout out to my boy Dizzum. We're there one day, when hanging out, and I told you, my buddy Anthony, he's in the sign business. I told you how we got the sick Saint sign. He calls me up, he's like, yo, what are you doing tomorrow? I was like, probably gonna be hanging out by 5 Points. He says, oh, I'm doing a job around the block. If I get done early enough, I got a cherry picker, a lift. I'll come down there, we'll go up and we'll do some high spots. Before anybody was really doing high spots. So lo and behold, we're hanging out there. All of a sudden you hear beep, 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 beep. We all turn, look down the block, and here comes Anthony rolling down the block in this thing, and everybody was all excited. Me and Germs jumped in this thing. We went up there, and we were the first ones to do BLs. I put up Dizzum, I put up Slash. Germs did a little something. And at the time, JS, I did a JS1 for him, and Mears wanted to do a rhymes for my boy Jack. So we got up there, we did our thing, whatever. And that was cool. But that was probably the most thing that I did. But because I always hooked them up, as you see in this picture again, now that I show you this, if you look really close, he did me a BL1 piece at the very top of the stairs, next to the stairs. And he reached over with a roller and he went over it. Because he told me something he never should have told me. He doesn't care about nothing else, but it bothers him the most when people go over stuff there. So what did I do? I went there with JA one night, and we just destroyed the place. Doing fill-ins, tags, over everything. I didn't care who it was. We were going over them. Because at 5 Points, you go there, you do your piece, you take your picture, and you leave. Because next week, Mears is going to have somebody go over it anyway. So to me, no harm, no foul. But one specific night, I'm out hanging out, chilling with my boy Marco, shout out Says. We're running around doing our thing, and I get a text message from Bruce. Rest in peace, Bruce. A true graffiti bomber. Truly missed. BL, what are you doing, man? I'm like, nothing, man. I'm going by 5 Points. I'm gonna take out a bunch of bullshit. Fuck this kid. Yeah, I'll meet you there. So Bruce comes down. Me, him, and Marco, we're walking around. J.A. was there. We're just driving around the whole place, just looking. We started destroying all sorts of stuff. At the time, Bruce was also writing Too Sweet. Number 2, SWEET. Too Sweet. And he was there with me, just destroying the place. And I loved it. Because there's nothing worse to me than somebody is, I'm doing everything I can to help you, and you're not doing shit for me. One time I went to 5 Points when I was hanging out with him. I see all these people clearing up a bunch of equipment and all this other stuff. And I'm like, yo, you know, what was going on here? I must have got there like 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon. He's like, oh, they shot a movie over here. I was like, what? They shot a movie over here and you didn't call me to tell me? Oh no, I didn't want to bother you, whatever. But you called me at 8:30 in the morning to tell me that Scant destroyed your place. Okay, you're a douchebag. Then another time, I come showing up there. He doesn't say one word to me. I'm talking to the other kid, and he's like, yo, Mobb Deep was just here shooting a music video. I said, are you fucking kidding me right now? I stormed over to Mears. I was like, yo, you mean Mobb Deep was just here shooting a music video and you didn't call me? You know I'm in the hip-hop industry. You know I want to meet people and politic and get out there. You didn't fucking call me? And ever since then, I lost all love and respect for this kid. Because I'll tell you another thing. Mears was never a bomber. He was never a graffiti dude. He was what we call a paper mate. You stayed at home and you draw your ass off. You're pretty good on paper. And then when he got to 5 Points, he started really getting sick with his letters and everything. But the other thing that bothers me is he does these light bulbs. And he is not the original person to do light bulbs. Lights. Lights. Slash's brother Lights was the first person to ever do light bulbs. And he did them sick. And here comes Mears, the copycat killer, doing all these little corny light bulbs with eyes and a mouth and stuff, and everybody thinks it's so cute. I just always thought that shit was corny, man. Because in graffiti, you gotta be a bomber. And then fast forward, this poor billionaire man who lent the building. Mears never put a dime into it. He never did anything. He just picked who wrote on it. This poor billionaire was telling Mears, dude, I'm knocking this building down. You gotta wrap it up and get out of here. And Mears tried this campaign like, you're not going over our stuff. You can't take this building down. This guy's a fucking billionaire who owns the building. You're a corny street artist. And all of a sudden, the guy who's a genius, he just hired a bunch of people and he whitewashed the building. Which to me is completely hysterical. There's no better way to stick it to Mears than to just cover the building. I don't even know if he knew that. But he did way farther than what we did. I just went over pieces. I didn't care who you were. At one point, I'm in the dark, running around, just going over people. I went over my own friend Dism. He came to my house. Yo, you fucking, what are you kidding me? You owe me paint. I was like, dude, calm down, bro. No harm, no foul. It's all good. But here they are. All these people got this sick lawsuit. You went over my pieces. You went over my pieces. Turned into this big lawsuit. And if you've seen it in the paper and in the news, the building won millions of dollars. Millions of dollars. And all these artists that were part of the lawsuit, some were friends of mine, and some I have no fucking idea who they were. But my point is, people like me was there every day, helping him, chasing people away. Whatever he needed, I was there for him, because at the time he was a friend of mine. I showed you in last episodes that he did an album cover for me. Because a lot of people don't know this, but Mears was trying to rhyme too. He wanted to rap and do songs. He came to me, he's like, yo, BL, could you help me? You know, get me in the studio. So one time, I brought him to the studio when I was there with Jack. I brought Mears. I had SR and BK there. And I was filming these guys doing, you know, freestyling and going sick. And I was trying to teach Mears about how to write a song. So I was helping him, and he was helping me by doing a cover. But when he needed the help, he came to me and asked. But when I wanted help, he was a ghost. So when people ask me, oh, why do you beef with Mears? Why do you go over the stuff? This is why. I don't trust people like that. This is why nowadays I could tell in 5 minutes, man, if you're cool or you're not. And you're not innocent until proven guilty. With me, you're guilty until you prove to me you're innocent and you're a good person. Do I hate Mears? Do I want him to die? No. But do I fuck with him? Absolutely not. I see him in his little camp. They're doing all these galleries and stuff, you know, because he's 5 Pointz. He didn't do that himself. Where's my check? Where's my money? I want money. These guys got millions of dollars because people like me were chasing people away. I helped add credibility to that place by bringing JA and all these other people there. I was there the day Cope was doing the Time magazine cover on the side. He had all these sorts of people there. And I was there chilling out, and at the time, I had beef with JA. I wasn't cool with JA. I'm hanging out with Dism. Me and Anthony were smoking a blunt. I see JA in the thing going all up. He's hanging out with Dara. Shout out to Dara. And like a gentleman, I called JA over. And I was like, yo, come here, let me talk to you for a minute. You remember me? Yeah. I was like, look, man, I know we had problems in the past, but no love lost, man. I don't got a problem with you. I'm not going over you, you know, whatever. And from that minute on, we squashed beef. I lit the blunt. We're smoking a blunt. We're talking. We exchanged numbers. And we just started hanging out. And here, funny treat. That night that JA was there, and he came down the roof, and he did the JA and the same. These are the gloves that he used. Because he was a big believer wearing gloves for everything. You don't want to leave your fingerprints on nothing. God forbid you're out bombing and you get chased and you're running and you put your hand on a car or a window and you're running, the cops are gonna come and take your fingerprints. So be smart. I told you, there's a lot of snitches. But these were J.A.'s gloves that he gave to me. History, Mo. But I just wanted to touch on that because shit like that bothers me. I don't like when people use me. I don't like when people know I'm gonna fight for you. I'm gonna be the voice to go around the block and tell these people, hey man, get the fuck out of here with your camera, or I'm gonna slap you and rob you. And trust me, these people would leave immediately. I didn't have an army behind me. Nope. Just me. And that's me. Anybody who knows you're a friend of mine, I will fight to the death for you. Nowadays, if you're somebody that's not in my circle, I really don't care. More power to you. You do what you're doing, I'll do what I'm doing. And that's just life. Enough of the rant. I want to say thank you to everybody who tunes in. Of course, I want to shout out my boy Bobby, RB, Vinny, Smith, Lady Pink, true legend. Unbelievable. She was a part of a movement and in movies and done things that you wouldn't believe. And actually, a funny story is, you know something? Just how you know people are deceptive and things are not always true. The other night, I was home watching Bronx Tale. Bronx Tale, sick movie. Robert De Niro filmed it, Chaz Palminteri, all this shit. Beautiful movie. From the very beginning of the movie, it says, oh, we're in the Bronx, the Bronx, the Bronx. I got news for you. That movie was not shot in the Bronx. It was shot in Astoria, Queens, on one block. You have Cereso's Italian Deli. Next to it is where Cologero sat on the stoop. On the corner was Ches Bibi, the bar, where all the gangsters hung out. Across the street from there was the funeral home. Right around the corner where they were playing stickball. All right there. Where they had, down the block, where they had their little social club, where the guys were all sitting there. You know, they got the little machine outside listening to music. That was not filmed in the Bronx. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Queens. I told you I grew up in Ridgewood where they shot the movie Dreams Don't Die. In Ridgewood. They shot Beach Street, most of it in Ridgewood and Bushwick. And I'm going to take you to some locations and show you this is where it was really done. And this is all graffiti history. And to me, that's important. Teaching graffiti history. I don't want people watching movies thinking, oh, this is the Bronx. The actual only scene that was shot in the Bronx was when Robert De Niro and his kid were on the bus talking about baseball and the Yankees, and they pull into City Island, and he gets off the bus, and he helps them close and lock up, and he takes them to get ice cream. That's the only scene that was shot in the Bronx. City Island. So be careful. You know, it's like pulling the wool over your eyes all the time. People are fake. Keep your eye on everybody. Because I do. Thanks for tuning in. Shout you out for listening. I'm going to get more into it next week. I'm going to get Coop on the phone. We're going to talk TA7 history. I apologize. I got to get going. I got some things to do. I got to take a sick, hot, steaming shit. And I got my special toilet paper. My special toilet paper. I'm going to wipe my ass with this shit. Fuck Joe Biden. Peace, y'all. Thanks for tuning in. More treats coming next week.